Hey there guys, it's Chrsitopher Estrella coming at you again with another video blog for IDH3034 Myth and Ritual in Film. Today I'm going to be discussing the film 2001 A Space Odyssey. I know a lot of people are going to choose ET for this one, so I wanted to go a different route. Um, well, watching the movie was pretty interesting the first 20 something minutes when literally there was no dialogue whatsoever. It was really good music. Um, and a lot of interpretation. It's kind of hard to follow the plot of this movie throughout, but it did end in a way. And as I did some more research and I dug up some more info about the film, I found that that was the director's goal. He actually wanted to leave it up to the interpretation of the viewer, and he wanted to leave it to basically for the viewer to decide what really happened and what did it. And I also read that he wanted to dig deeper into the subconscious of the person, which I thought was pretty interesting. Now, to talk about other aspects of the film, I'm just looking here at some notes I took. Now, I read with the lectures and everything from the class and everything, I read that the director, his name is Kirkpick. I'm kind of mispronouncing it, but sorry. He wanted to develop a new myth, which I think is pretty interesting, seeing that all these stories, well, most popular ones, are based off old myths, whether they be Greek or Hindu or religious, but he kind of set out to create a new story, which sounds pretty interesting because as you see the movie progress, you kind of do see the development of Hal almost as like a god, and he is like the almighty that can read lips and understand everything and decide who lives and who dies, especially in space, since he provides the life force or the oxygen. But you kind of see that at the end he just gets shut down, and kind of he wasn't like a real god. The real god is really whoever created that rectangular prism of a monolith, because that thing is like a space traveling tool, because it literally takes the main character through life and makes him a fetus. Like, it takes him from back and forth in like less than an hour or something. I don't know how long time flows in that thing since it's time travel, but it was really interesting to see that development. It's like you're developing this own interpretation of a religion that's being made up in this thing, because that monolith literally taught the apes how to use tools, how to drive out the other apes. But at the same time, this monolith is taking this guy back and forth and is showing him all these facets of life all through history. Literally lands him from this modern technological space driven era all the way to this like neoclassical bedroom with like all this old style architecture and everything. Kind of shows you that there's like a higher being acting upon them the whole time. Now, I also found it pretty interesting. It's actually a quote that I found by the director. He says, "On the deepest psychological level, the film's plot symbolizes the search for God, and it finally postulates what is little less than a scientific definition of God. The film revolves around the metaphysical conception and the realistic hardware that the documentary feelings about everything were necessary in order to undermine your built-in resistance for the potential concept." I poetical concept. It's pretty interesting because the fact that they left it up to the viewer's interpretation of what happened at the same time while introducing this whole crazy film that takes you on this whole journey, it kind of got me thinking, not just like what is ritual, what is a myth, what is a religion. Basically, it kind of made me think that a ritual is what you want it to be, because was the monkeys at the beginning touching a little bit, to see if the monolith was scary or not, a ritual? To some people, it could seem like a ritual. It's like they were like paying their homage to this, but to another person, it could just seem some curious monkeys. What's going on? So I think it's pretty interesting because it kind of questions what is a ritual, what is the understanding of it, and why is it given that importance. It made me think of a quote, not a quote, an idea I have in my head, like the person that has power is the one that the people decide to give the power to. So a ritual is important because the people decide to make it important, and a myth becomes an important part of a culture because people decide to value that and not something else. It kind of shows where these people have placed their value. They place their value on technology and on these abilities to go through space, to go to Jupiter, to go to Mars, to be, not Mars, to go to the moon, but to go to different places where another society could have based its importance on literature or its importance on creating a better society in another way or on a government force, but these people place the importance on technology. So it kind of shows, to me, this video was more of a kind of a soul searching type of thing because I just went through the whole movie and to be honest, when it ended, I'm like, what did I just watch? So I had to go back and I rewatched bits and pieces of it, and then I did some research, and I actually went and looked up because there was a book that was published around the same time as this movie. A little bit, I was actually published after a movie, but it's titled the same thing and premises around the same thing. And after reading that, it gave a more clearer idea of what the ending of the book of the movie should have been like, or cleared up a few things. So it kind of helped me understand better, but I love that there's no dialogue. I love the music at the beginning. I love the use of classical music throughout when they're in space. Like, I love movies that are able to make me think, is basically it. As for the mythical aspects of it, basically the myth or the rituals are revolving around technology. There's these godlike alien beings that left this monolith there for people to time travel or learn from. So that's pretty interesting. Other than that, the other aspects, there is no alien life form actually shown physically, but it's more of mental because they're the ones that basically help the time travel. So that's my interpretation on this movie. Thanks for listening to me and to all my crazy rambliness sometimes, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys for the next vlog.